What a class. That's all I got to say. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the locker room. We are returning from our little stint off that we had. I just wasn't recording, wasn't able to get stuff done, but it's all right because we are back. And today we're going to be talking about the offensive line rankings, continuing our path to the 2024 NFL Draft. So that's what we're going to be doing today. If you have not seen the previous NFL Draft rankings between our quarterbacks, running backs, tight ends, and receivers also, then make sure you go and check that out. Today we're talking about the linemen, the big dogs. Going to be a combination of both tackles and guards and centers, the entire line in the draft today. I'm going to be talking about 8 apiece. And then our next episode is going to be on our edge rushers and defensive line. So this is the last position group for the offense side of the ball before we move over to the defense side of the ball. So overall, very great class, except for a couple positions, but the great class continues here in the offensive line. What a class. There's so many great talents at many spots with all different types of play sets. Some guys who are going to plug into the league nicely right away, and some guys who maybe need to sit a year. So it's going to be interesting to see how my rankings fall compared to other people. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. And coming in at number 8, we're going to have Troy Fatanu. I believe that's how you say his name, out of Washington. This is a guy who I think is going to plug into the league really nicely as he is. I feel like he's really NFL ready as he is on the older side a bit. But the key things I think he does well is he mirrors defenders really well, and he has really fast hands. So if a defender's on a speed rush, he can jam them real quick. He has quick reaction time with those hands as long as mirroring the defenders. He's very quick in that sense. And then also he's got a fantastic motor. There's a lot of guys in this class as far as the line position. There's a couple of them where they have that Max Crosby like motor, one more than others, some more than others, and I think there's one guy ahead where Fatanu's a bit the other guy's a better motor, but overall very like Max Crosby like motors. They just want to drive these guys into the ground, and they do it very well. So Troy Fatanu, and then there's picks up the blitzes very well. He's very strong IQ for offensive lineman, which is another reason why I think he's just going to plug into the league nicely. So picks up blitzes very well, and he's just a very well-ready player that I think can plug in nicely. The only things I do think that he can improve on is with that motor, there's a lot of times where with his aggression, he just wants to blow someone up and it will cause him to overstep and miss the block. So if he can just calm down and just he's strong enough to where if he just gets inside, he'll be able to drive him and he doesn't have to have a kill shot every time. It also exposes him to power, which is not a good thing as he will overcommit and then he could get blown up himself. So he's just got to stay in his frame, not try and kill someone every play. I like the aggression, but sometimes it's a bit too much. You just got to step it back and you'll be able to be just fine. I also think that even though he does have fast hands, I think his hand placement can be better, and I think he can get stronger hands. He's quick to get his hands there, but they're not often in the right spot, and they don't often have enough power to knock someone off their block. It will cause him to have a little disruption, but he doesn't have powerful hands like some of the other guys. And I also think that his hands get a little too wide sometimes. I think that's a common theme throughout these linemen in this draft. So, and then another thing is I don't know what it is, but something with his back leg it causes him to come off balance when he's in his step back. So I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just me that sees it, but it's something that I see and it causes him to come off balance a little bit. So maybe if that can get fixed, that'd be really nice. But overall, I think he's going to be a nice plug and play player where he can rotate in at the NFL level. So number 8, Troy Fatanu. Coming at number 7, we're gonna have Dom Puny out of Kansas. This is a guy, he just looks so smooth at what he does at the position. It's very similar to Jalen Polk, where it just looks effortless at what he does at his position. What I think he does really well is getting to the second level. He looks very smooth, bouncing off, going from one block to another and bouncing off that block and attacking the next one. He does a really good job at that. And I also think that he's a really good open field blocker. If and he will get out. He can pull. He can get out and he can attack the corner very well, which is something I really like. It just looks so smooth for him. And then I also think that he picks up stunts really well. It's another thing, stunts and blitzes both combined. I think that's another thing that we see a lot of these NFL ready prospects being able to do very well. And I think that him and Troy Fatanu are both of those guys who can plug in nicely right away and be a rotational player at the NFL level compared to these other guys I'm going to talk about in a few seconds or in a few minutes. And then he also has great explosiveness off the line. He has a very high motor, not quite like Troy Fatanu, but he gets off the line very quick, which is what I like. And he's going to be a very nice plug and play player who's going to be able to rotate in when you need him to. Only issues, I think that sometimes he can take bad angles when he's blocking. It's not all the time. It's just sometimes where he'll overstep or something. He takes a bad angle at someone, and then I think that his hands get a little wide sometimes, where it can maybe look like a holding in the NFL. So, and then he also struggles against power sometimes in pass block. It's not all the time. It's just some small issues with Troy. Excuse me, Dom Puny. But I don't think he's going to be. I think that he's about at his ceiling. You're not going to get see him get better to progress into an awesome offensive lineman. I think this is a guy who can rotate in, maybe, and then he can possibly start if he improves on those little things. But overall, great player, very fluid, very nice. I think that he can be a solid rotational player at the offensive line position. Coming in at number 7, we're going to have Tyler Guyton out of Oklahoma. This is a guy who there's a lot of potential here, but definitely needs some work. Definitely cannot play day one in the NFL. Starting off with the things that he does really well. Overall, he's got a great build. I think he's a really solid build for an offensive lineman. He's very similar to Amarius Mims. I think they both have great builds for the offensive line position. I think that he has great strength. He has great strength to where he can also win with the second effort. He can get beat on the maybe have a stalemate or gets beat on the first block attempt, but he can come back and his strength is so powerful. He can knock that person off the block with the slightest punch. So that's very good for him with the second effort. He also has very strong hands. Strong hands are very strong. He's very strong in general. So that's going to help him a lot. It's a lot of raw traits that this guy has. He's also very quick. He can get out. He can go to the second level. He can get there quick. He can pull quick. These are all traits that are very raw and that they just naturally come to him. It's just a matter of if he can progress them and fix the big issues and the techniques that he needs for the offensive line position. And those things are, like I said, he's very raw. And then he's very bad at picking up blitzes. That is one thing that definitely needs to improve to where it is a huge issue. And if it does not get fixed, I just don't think he will succeed at the NFL level. He'll get flat-footed also. I think this is a smaller issue, but I did see it. He gets flat-footed, causing him to himself to lose balance. And then also he needs to get off the ball better. It's not necessarily that he's just like lazy. It's just a matter of him timing the ball, timing the snap up. I know you get the count. You don't want to cause a false start, but he needs to get better at getting off the line quicker as far as knowing the snap count. And then another thing is, like I said, with all these linemen, his hands are too wide. Get them inside, and you'll be all right. So if he can, with his strength especially, if he can get those hands inside, he'll be all right. He doesn't need to go wide, and his agility, he'll be able to handle going inside. So he just needs to be able to fix these things. A lot of big issues that need to be fixed, but the potential is really high with Tyler Guyton. So that's why I got him at number 6. And now coming in at number 5, we're going to have Jackson Powers Johnson out of Oregon. This guy, this is the other guy who has one of those motors like Max Crosby. I think this is the most like Max Crosby as far as if Max Crosby were to play on a line. This guy's motor is insane. 100% every play. That's one thing I absolutely love in a lineman. And this guy possesses that fantastic strength. His punches are like, damn, it's like Mike Tyson level. This guy is throwing great punches at the line position. Very powerful. He's very agile too. He can move. He can get out there and pull if you need him to. I know he plays center. But if you need to plug him in at guard, you can. You can have him run around the side. He can adjust to blitzes very well. He can go to the second level very well. He's very good agility. He's very quick for his size, which I like. Another thing is I think he possesses very well, which not a lot of other people do. He has powerful hands, and his hands are very accurate. He gets them inside well. He always punches it at the perfect time, in the perfect spot with perfect power. His hands are the best part of his game. That's what I absolutely love about him. And he has to do that while making sure to snap the ball perfect, which I think he's also very good at. Very, very good player for him. Another thing is, um, sometimes he shoots off too strong. That's another thing. He'll shoot off the line. He's trying to kill someone very similar to Troy Fatanu, and then he'll just miss because he's trying to kill the person. You just need to settle down, hit your punches, and you'll be all right. Because when he hits his punches, these guys go flying and he can drive them into the ground. There's no reason to have the kill shot. I know every lineman wants that. You want the pancakes, but you can do it without getting the kill shot because Jackson Powers Johnson has that power to drive him into the ground. Another thing is he sometimes will come off balance because he like lifts his feet off the ground. I That's what I've seen. He'll come up off balance and lose power because when he's driving, he lifts his feet off the ground. That's something that he can work on. And then I think that he can adjust to um Blitz is a bit better. It's not bad, but his agility is there to where if they come in, he's going to be able to pick it up, and I think that he's going to have a good ability to be able to adjust to that in the NFL. I just think it needs a little work. So number 5, Jackson Powers Johnson. Coming in at number 4, I'm going to have Talise Fuaga out of Oregon State. There's no denying that this guy is a bruiser. He is going to run you over. There's no doubt about it. His strength is awesome. He gets off the ball with a vengeance and quick. His hands are, oh my God, this guy can take you down with a one hand. This guy will power you with his hands. There's times where I remember there was one block I specifically watched, came off the edge. He punched. This guy, I'm not lying, went back 5 feet. His hands are so strong. It's absolutely incredible. He has amazing range. I think he can pull very well. I just don't think where it comes down to the fundamentals and like the NFL level stuff. I just don't think he's great as far as picking up blocks, picking up picking up blitzes, sorry. Getting to the next level, I think he can improve on, but sometimes I'm like, damn, he's really good. But there's sometimes where he can miss. But overall, he's very agility, very good agility. And then to the guys above him, I just think that they pick up blocks better and blitzes better. So that's the reason I have him I wouldn't even say it's low. I have him as a damn near top 15 talent in this draft. He's that good. He's very solid. I would take him in a heartbeat in the first round. There's no doubt about it. There's just two guys who are for sure better than him, and one guy whose potential I might like a bit more. And I'm not a big potential guy as far as offensive linemen go, but let's see at number 3. Coming in number 3, it's going to be Amarius Mims out of Georgia. This is a guy who this is a kind of a last second switch for me, is he's got a lot of potential. There's no doubt about that. But when it comes to offensive linemen, I'm not really a big fan of the potential. I'd rather them be able to plug in and play right away. I think that's better for them. I think that more linemen succeed when they have that plug in and play ability rather than the potential, doing air quotes. So it's very odd for me to have a lineman this high just based off potential. But what I think that even with his potential, he's still a very solid lineman where he is right now. I still think he should maybe wait a little bit before they plug in and play him. But I think that he's definitely a guy who possesses the traits to play right now with the potential, which is not something that you see a lot at the tackle position. So to start off with the things, he's a fantastic pass blocker. He might be the best pass blocker in the draft, which is a key thing. I mean, if you might be the best pass blocker in the draft and you have this much potential, which I'll get to in a second, you're damn good. That's why I got him at 3. So he's a great pass blocker. He reacts to blitzes so well. He's beyond explosive off the line. He wants to kill people. And another thing that I think that most of these guys haven't done, he's played both left tackle and he's played right tackle. He's got that versatility, which I love. The things that he needs to work on, which comes with being able to fulfill that potential. He has so many traits that are just unbelievable and he can do so well. I just think that obviously he needs time to develop. I think he gets a bit too tall sometimes. That's another thing that I see a lot of these linemen do, but it's one of the things that's easiest to fix as far as these linemen. It's just to stay down. I get you're tall, but I think he's going to be able to fix that. I'll see him sometimes roll over onto his heels, which is a kind of a big issue for me, but this is again working with that technique. If he sits behind like a veteran, like I don't know, if he goes to the Bengals, I think that'd be a perfect spot for him to be able to learn behind their offensive line. And Orlando, one of the, whoever the left tackle is, I was going to say Orlando Brown. I'm not positive if that's him, but one of those guys in Cincinnati. I know they have a good left tackle over there. And then I think his hand usage can improve. Not necessarily that it's bad. It's just I think he can use them a bit more because he does have strong hands. But the biggest mix I have with this guy is he only played 8 college games. So that's another thing is this guy has like no sample size and he really didn't play in college. But then it also brings the argument, you caught my attention this much with only playing 8 games in college. So this guy has got to be a stud. He obviously is doing something right. It's just, which one is it? Is it he's only played 8 games and that's an issue, or he caught my eye with 8 games and he's a stud? It's one of those things where I'm mixed at, but I honestly think that I'm leaning more towards that this guy is going to be a stud if goes into the right situation because he has so many tools and traits with not many issues, but where he can play right away, but he can still learn. He needs to learn for a minute, but overall, I think he's going to be a great player in the NFL. He can be a true left tackle. I love Amarius Mims. Coming in number 2 is going to be Olu Fashanu out of Penn State. Love that name. I don't know why, but I love that name. Olu Fashanu. Great. Good job, Olu's parents. Great name. So Olu's strength is phenomenal. It's another great thing about him. He's a very good prospect, top 15 talent, without a doubt in my mind. Elite strength, very good agility. I think that with him and Amarius Mims, those are the two competing for best pass blocker. I said Amarius Mims is one of the best pass blockers, could be the best pass blocker. I think Olu's that guy competing with him. I think Olu is phenomenal. The only thing I have in his pass blocking that is kind of a downgrade is I think he can get too tall sometimes. He'll stand up straight and that will sometimes make him lose balance, or if the defender is going lower, it's going to affect him a little bit. So if he can just get lower on his pass block, it will be good. I think that the one thing that he does that I don't see a lot of people do is he will bait defenders to going a certain way to where he can block them. He plays defense on offense. He says, okay, let's have you go this way, and he takes them that way. It's very awesome. He directs them in many ways to where they think that they can get in the line, and then bam, he baits defenders so well. That's one trait that I don't think any other lineman has in this class. That is awesome. He also has a very strong IQ. He can pick up blitzes very well. Olu is a great prospect. The other thing is, I just don't think he's great at getting to the next level as far as these other guys. It's not bad at any means, but if you're compared to guys like Joe Alt and all these other guys to where those are the guys you're competing with, I do think that he's one of the weaker in the class as far as those guys that getting to the next level. But overall, love this guy. Love this guy. He's awesome. Top 15. No doubt in my mind, I'd even take him top 10. Olu Fashanu at number 2. And coming in at number 1, none other than Joe Alt. This guy is unbelievable. He is so good at his position. At getting to the second level, there is no one like him in this draft. He is by far the best run blocker, by far the best getting to the second level. And the thing is, he's only 315. He's 6'8", 315. So he's not like, as far as muscle, I don't think he's the strongest, but he's going to get stronger. The guy is only 20 years old, and he's playing at this high of a level in college football. Gets to the second level unbelievably. His agility is fantastic. The only thing that I think that he can improve on is his pass block. I don't think he's that blue chip number 1 as far as pass blocking, but it's going to get better. It's very, very good. I mean, it's top 3 in this draft, I feel, for pass blocking. He just struggles against the bull rush, and that includes him getting stronger. And guess what? The kid's 20 years old. He's going to get stronger. So I think that as far as potential, he is the best potential out of this entire class. You have guys like Amarius Mims and Tyler Guyton, even J.C. Latham, where their floors very low. They have very low floors with their ceiling being super high. And then you have Joe Alt, who floor very good, very high floor, like starting caliber left tackle type. And his ceiling is, I hate to say it, Hall of Fame tackle. I mean, he is up there. He is that good. He is unbelievable. So he's going to get stronger. And if let's say Chicago wasn't at number 1 and you're a team who doesn't need a quarterback and you have a solid receiving core, I would not even hesitate taking Joe Alt number 1. I think that he is definitely worthy of going number 1 in this class. I don't think he will because of the need at quarterback and how many good quarterbacks there are. But 100%, if I don't need a quarterback, I'm taking Joe Alt over Caleb Williams. And if I have a good receiver, I'm taking Joe Alt over Marvin Harrison. I don't think it's crazy to say he is in there with that top tier guys. I think he's a top 3 player in this class. There's no doubt about it. And if there was someone who needed a tackle and didn't need a quarterback and receiver at number 1, I think there's no doubt in their mind Joe Alt comes off the board at number 1. And that is just insane to me how people obviously, they're not saying he's bad or anything, but I think that he for sure can go number 1 in this draft. There's no doubt about it. So Joe Alt, my number 1 tackle and my number 3 player in this draft. So Joe Alt. And that is going to do it for our offensive line rankings for the 2024 NFL Draft. Make sure you guys go check out all our previous videos in our path to the 2024 NFL Draft. We have a lot of good rankings in there. Make sure you like, subscribe, do all that stuff. Turn on the notification bell so you're on the lookout for our defensive line rankings coming out in the near future. So make sure you do all that stuff and like, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.